So here are the things about what we should be careful about for the next steps. Number one is VC fit. Number two is customer retention. And number three is monetization. I personally don't want to stop working on an idea if there is no clear VC fit yet, because I think problems will pop up later. After you start talking to these customers, they will tell you more problems they are actually facing. And we hear repetitively about some signals after we show them a solution, and then they open up and talk to us more about other things. And we're like, hey, this is probably a bigger problem, right? Hidden behind the scene. Because if you don't talk to these people, you never realize, there are other problems out there. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Sean, and this is the fifth week of Antler UK. We have landed 3 customers in the past week. We built an app in about 2-3 days, and we just went out there to ask people to install it. So far, the installation rate is 3 out of 5. Basically, we built a solution for small businesses to enable them to help with something, which I won't disclose yet. But in this video, I'd like to discuss about what it was like to develop something fast, to find the problem, and then think about a quick MVP solution for it. And how do you balance, doing things fast versus answering some of the most important startup questions, for example, venture capital fit, because we're still struggling with that. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we basically realized that small businesses have ABC issues, and in some of my previous videos, I also already mentioned how do we do, sell first before you build something for them, before you create some solutions, because you want to avoid the trap of solutionizing the problem. So basically, we walk into maybe 50 plus small businesses and asked around their problems before we even touched on building anything. And then when we consolidated that, hey, here's a couple of pinpoints that could potentially be a thing for us, we just decided, oh, okay, how can we make something really fast? So we picked a mobile framework called React Native, basically because we need to send notifications to a lot of the businesses that we're helping with, so that in that case, a building website is not an option. Actually, I myself am more familiar with building web-based solutions, but because of this need, I pivoted into learning something from scratch. I made some mobile apps in the past, but not really professional in that. So that's one thing I wanted to say, which is, it doesn't matter if you're technical or if you're semi-technical, if you're not technical, be slightly technical and then use AI to learn anything that you need to help you build a software business. So maybe I spend about like a day just to think about how to set up the framework to build the application, think about what is the basic user journey there, and decide on what database we want to use. We want to start simple, so we just use the Supabase as a temporary database solution. And there's no backend, there's only mobile front end plus a database, but we think this is good enough for a kickoff and start. So yeah, basically we launched this on both the Apple test flight as well as creating like an APK link, which is for any Android devices to download an app that is not going through Play Store yet. So we walked out there and then talked to more people. And yeah, some people are very genuinely interested. We basically asked about the problems as usual, but this time we were like probably more specifically focused on a couple of very most important questions, and then just jump right in and be like, hey, here's how we can help you with that. On my phone, here's how you can see these quick solutions. Will you be interested in that? And then 3 out of 5 said yes. So we think that's some level of validation as well. And they just install our app and start registering and using it. So here are the things about what we should be careful about for the next steps. There are 3 main things. Number 1 is VC fit. Number 2 is customer retention. And number 3 is monetization. So in terms of VC fit, we actually talked to quite a few VCs, part of this program. What VCs would really care about is how can you prove that your business is going to grow into a unicorn, or at least, $100 million company. So basically the math is that you can calculate that right now, right? If you charge a customer $50 per month, and if you have like 1,000 customer, then 50 times 1,000 is 50K, 50K per month MRR, and 12 times 5 is 60. So it becomes 600K ARR per year, if I did that right. So imagine you have, instead of 1,000 users, you have 10,000 users. That becomes 6 million. If you have 100,000 users, that becomes 60 million. Doing this basic math will help you to walk your head around if this market could be like a big attractive market for VCs to be interested in investing in you. If you imagine yourself penetrating into the whole market, you would be able to make, let's say, 200 million per year in about 5 years' time. But then you need to think about, what if I apply a 10% on it, like a 10% penetration into the market? What if there are some competitors out there? So these are all important questions to think about for VC fit. I personally don't want to stop working on an idea if there is no clear VC fit yet, because I think problems will pop up later. After you start talking to these customers, they will tell you more problems they are actually facing. And we hear repetitively about some signals after we show them a solution, and then they open up and talk to us more about other things. And we're like, hey, this is probably a bigger problem, right? Hidden behind the scene. Because if you don't talk to these people, you never realize, there are other problems out there. So that's the first thing about VC fit. We're still figuring that out. I mean, in terms of the total addressable market, we kind of meet that goal, but there's still some questions about like how much percentage of the market can you penetrate into, right? We also got some no's from the VCs. Um, I mean, obviously, we're at the very early stage, and also some people think that this is not an exciting area that we're working on. But like the controversial part is that these days, the other side of the VC world would be saying, "Hey, try to tackle some boring work that people were ignoring in the past before having AI," right? So I think these days VC fit in terms of technology change, it would definitely be AI. There's nothing more significant than AI changing the world, or at least just for storytelling, right? This is like a default thing to go to already these days, because you can't really say mixed reality or crypto anymore. That's something that people could have done 5 years ago. So that's one thing about VC fit. Or other, there are a couple of other points about VC fit, which are policy change and behavioral change. Like for example, carbon emission will be effective in about 10, 20 years, and then businesses who don't comply with that will get fined. Right? That's a policy change driving potential large market, which is having a VC fit. Or behavioral change, right? People perhaps, all of a sudden energy bills have increased. So everyone wants to save money with energy bills. So that's like a behavioral shift. Or, like the most well known one is, working remotely after COVID. So that was VC fit. Number two was about customer retention, right? So we talked to some visiting partners here at Antler, and then they gave us some advice, and they mentioned basically we should observe if these people who downloaded our apps are actually keeping using them, because that would mean that this simple solution, this simple user journey that we built in 2 days are actually helpful. Right? There's something there, and we need to dig deeper into that. If they stop using it, we need to ask them why. If they continue to use it, we should be very happy and continue to, find out what other friction there are and then make it even better. So the second one is actually a short one: customer growth and customer retention. Right? Like, I mean, we got 3 customers in a week, but actually in 2 3 days. But it's not the right time to feel like it's on the right trajectory yet, and to continue to observe the customer retention and user usage. Number three is about monetization. So sometimes people are willing to try new things because their personality is these kind of early adopter personality. Some others are like, I don't want to try new things until the very end, until some friends tell me. You see the key difference here? Some people are willing to try new things. Some people are willing to try it later when they feel missing out. So the monetization strategy here is that, can we even, get people who are early adopters to start paying? Is the paying big enough for them to be willing to pay, say, $20 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month, et cetera, et cetera? Depends on the size of the business. Or if you're a consumer facing app, depends on how much pain you can solve for an individual consumer. And yeah, and then later on, like when these early adopters start paying, start using them, they're gonna tell their friends, tell their family. Perhaps you can make them go viral on the internet, and then these guys perhaps will start affect those who are late adopters, right? Would the late adopters be able or be willing to pay for it? So I think a lot of the times, like in the past 10, 20 years, we always promote this idea of grow first, go expand and conquer the market first before thinking about how to make money. Some of these companies work. Uber, Amazon, all of them reached profitability much, much, much later than their IPO. But I guess these days things changed a lot. Those consumer apps have become very, very mature, and these days investors are less sensitive to operations heavy businesses. So if you want to make something quick and make money quick, you got to prove how do you make how do you monetize hopefully from day one? So a good example recently, I guess, is Cursor. I'm a paying user of Cursor because Cursor immediately shows value of me not having to copy paste the entire code base to ChatGPT or Claude anymore. If it's a one file of code, I can copy and paste no problem. But if it's like a whole directory, Cursor is just so much easier. And I started using it. And after a little bit of time, finished using all the free credits. So I paid like $20 a month just to give it a shot. But would I be a continuous recurring paying customer? I don't know. Maybe there are some better tools coming up later. So for me, as an early adopter of Cursor, I would, start paying. And I think they did a good job for, tricking me into paying because they gave me some free credits, let me use it, and then restricted my usage. But I already developed that user behavior. But later, I perhaps could turn into some like better version of Microsoft Copilot for VS Code. But yeah, so basically, it's an update, quick update of what we're trying to do. Landing some quick customers. Need to think about the three main things: VC fit, is there tech change, behavioral change, policy change, right? And number two, how do we observe if the customers are having retention, or is the customer base growing? And number three, how do we think about monetization strategy? So yeah, this is the update for the past week. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe the video, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Peace.